Hello, everyone. Welcome to 49ers Core. My name is Sharo. Thank you for joining me again. And I'm coming to you after all of these series of signings that we've had, a couple of offensive linemen, and we have a few wide receivers leaving. Our return guy is leaving. Uh, Kendrick Bourne has left for Arizona. And so we're going to look at some of the players that I actually like now since we have signed two offensive linemen. It's going to sort of probably change the schematics or the need of the team, although I would not rule out that we will be not looking for offensive line. Uh, Probably center. One of the centers that I really like that I think if he's there is Logan Jones in the later rounds, maybe round three, four, one of the comp picks that we have in round four. And one of the other major needs, and I wanted to talk about these specific players that I believe I've spoken to you guys before. I wanted to share with you two specific defensive tackle players that I think are instrumental in creating that interior pass rush that we need for the upcoming season. We There are two players that I'm looking at, and one of them is Caleb Proctor, and the other one is Zane Durant. I have scouted these players, and really, they have probably one of the best interior pass rusher, potential defensive tackle guys that, it's one thing that we have outside pass rushers, but then we need people that can push the pocket and create or generate pass rush. With that said, I like to go just to take a look at these two players, which I believe they're getting a little bit more talked about in the media. They're talking about these players. I've been scouting them for over a month now. And I don't know if anybody's been paying attention or kind of catching on in a sense that maybe we should look at these two players. And if they're there, uh, we can have a chance of drafting them. And let's see here. There are other defensive guys that I like, but they're more like a defensive end. And I think we need to have that interior defensive lineman rather than the defensive edge guys. And then also, what comes to play is now having wide receiver. Now that Kendrick Bourne is gone, not that he was such a major factor, but now that we've lost him, and Ayuk is going to probably be gone, and Jennings looks like he might be gone. So we're literally left with a whole, not a whole lot of players, and we need bodies in at least in the camp to come in and contribute and to add to the team to the speed. I talked about the let's see. I talked about a player that I think, in a sense, is he's a good player. He's a Hall of Famer, and I don't want to name him right away. But in one of the shorts that I did is Mike Evans, and the reason I'm kind of hesitant on him is because I know a lot of people like him. I liked him. I actually was campaigning for us to draft him when he was coming out of college. Absolutely loved him. I thought that he could become our uh, Julio Jones in a sense. The size, the speed, the strength, go through tackles, reach at the highest position of the ball to try to catch the ball, the 50-50 balls, shield the cornerbacks, use his size and leverage over the receptions. So, but one thing is that he's still an older player. Although we do need we need a veteran in there. We need someone that's been there. He's won a Super Bowl. He knows what it takes, and I believe in that kind of a leadership in the locker room. Because right now, nobody's a leader in the locker room. Jennings was an outspoken one. He was the passionate and fiery one. I actually liked him too. I wanted us to draft Jennings, and I believed in him even when he was not even playing or starting, and he was in the back end of the depth charts. I kept my hope, and I said, this guy's going to be good. He's going to be good. And lo and behold, he became more than serviceable and one of the premier guys for us. Not the fastest guy in the world, but he contributed pretty well for us, especially on third downs. But in that case, I think in round one, I would hesitate to say that in round one we would go wide receiver. Round two, I would not rule it out now. Round two would be one of the areas that we would take a wide receiver. And as far as the players that I spoke initially on the start of this video, one of them is that I mentioned is Caleb Proctor. He is 6'2", 291 pounds. And you guys can check this guy, his play, his pass rush percentile. Guys, catch this. And I'm looking at Draft Buzz. If you look at his pass rush percentile, is 95%. I mean, granted, he plays for a lower division kind of a college from Southeast Louisiana. I'm not really into college, games. I don't know how they're kind of bracketed or ranked. Kind of nationally, you get exposed to the college, the ones that are very famous. But I'm not like your college football guy. But I do know that he has played in not a very heavy competition type league in college. So therefore, he might be falling to round 4, maybe even 5. But I would not be surprised to see someone in round 3 reach out for him. And I believe at the top of the 4th, I would go for him. Definitely would go for him. He is, let's see, and his tackling percentile, which we don't really need because we have other tacklers, or we're going to have more tacklers and linebackers and other defensive ends that could get to the tackle. But his main goal would be to push the pocket, get to the quarterback's face. His run defense percentile is 85%. That's pretty good. But again, going back to his pass rushing, 95% is something to note. He might have some adjustments to make or getting used to the NFL caliber type games, which I believe if you have the talent, you have the talent. Sometimes regardless of the competition, but when you have the talent and you have that power and instincts, I believe that's something that not a whole lot of people can probably be coached. It's just instinctive. You've just got that. You got that twitch. You got that sort of a niche for that position. And the other guy is Zane Durant, another guy that I like. I believe in some of the mocks, he's mocked a little bit higher than Caleb Proctor. But on this one, looks like he might be, and he's been talked about now more and more, as I said. He's actually mocked after Proctor rather. Zane Durant, 290 pounds, 6'1", ran a 4.75. 4.75. That's pretty good. That's almost some of the tight ends. That's how they run at 250, 260. I believe, yeah, he's 290, maybe even more. 6'1". I believe for interior pass rusher, he's pretty good. Now, when we look at his pass rush percentile, is not as good. I wouldn't say it's not close to Caleb Proctor, but looking at his instinctive and his game, even if he doesn't generate that sort of a pass rush, he has that niche for that particular position. His pass rush percentile is 69%. It's not as great. It doesn't look great here, but he's a player that when you look at his game, when you look at the way he plays, you notice him. So these are the two guys that I like. And then on the other side of the line, if we go to let's say wide receivers, I'm not a fond of first round. I wasn't even fond of wide receiver in the second round, maybe third and fourth. But now with the way that we have been rather signing players, offensive tackles, I know this one specific player. He's been touted. He's liked. Bryce Lance. I know everybody knows Trey Lance, the brother. Then we have, let's see here, Jacoby Lane. I think everybody knows about him now. Jacoby Lane, I believe he could be had in round 2, maybe 3. Depends how the players fall and what the teams want and what they signed during free agency. That might change a little bit. And one of the players that I also like, wide receiver, is Eric McAllister. He's 6'4", ran a 4.52. He's pretty good. And one thing that I want to emphasize with dealing with Seattle's defense, we need big, tall, and that's why we went Mike, taller guys, more physical type receivers. And I believe that Eric McAllister, he's one of them. And Mike Evans is going to be another one that is going to help us in that category. The other guy that I like is Ted Hurst as far as wide receivers. He ran a 4.42. He's 6'4". I just like tall, big, and fast. How can you go wrong? But one other player that I think, having lost our return guy, and I can't think of his name right now, but someone that could replace him is Xavier Thomas. He ran a 4.28, one of the fastest wide receivers or one of the fastest players in the combine. He's 5'10", and ran a 4.28. How can you go wrong with that? If he can return balls for us, if he can be a home run hit, as far as catching a ball and maybe going to the other side of the 50-yard line of the opponent, because I rarely saw our return guy go past our 50-yard line. It was always our 30-yard line, 35, 40-yard line. And I want someone that really can break it and go into the other side of the 50-yard line of the opponent to give us at least a better chance of, if we cannot come away with a touchdown, we can at least get a field goal. So Xavier Thomas is one that I like. And a dark horse in this and I believe that he could be looked at by teams like Raiders, because I know they go for these type of players. If Jeff Caldwell, he's ranked at 33rd between all of the wide receivers. But get this, guys, he's 6'5" and he ran an unbelievable 4.31 40. 6'5", ran a 4.31. If nothing else, and I hear that he's not a great catcher, but there are things that he could work on, and definitely someone that can come in and impose his will and size and speed if we can get him a couple of balls a game. Um, One other wide receiver that I like, maybe if we go in round two, would be, and don't start with Concepcion. I'm not for this guy. And I know a lot of people are. Just, I'm not a huge fan. And I know he's a good yak kind of a receiver, yards after catch. I like, I'm starting to really like Omar Cooper. He ran a 4.42. He's 6 feet tall. And I believe the more I'm looking at this draft right now, I believe that in round two, there is a good chance that we go for Omar Cooper. You never know. I can't predict everything. Nobody can predict. I've seen our team literally go and pick someone that none of us even probably even thought in our wildest mind that the team would pick this. Like, for instance, like Nick Martin, like last year. I was like, who? Who's Nick Martin? When they picked him, I think everybody was shocked. Like, majority of people, of fans, and even maybe pundits and sports people, they were like, okay, Nick Martin, we don't know. Maybe he's good. He was fast and furious in a way. He was pretty agile. But there are instances like that we go in and pick players that really you go scratch your head and think. I mean, you've been looking at all these different players and scouting them, listening to them on social media, and all of a sudden the team comes out and picks someone that just blows your mind. And I think in round two, it's players like Jacoby Lane, Omar Cooper. I want to say Chris Brazel. Again, he's 6'4", ran a 4.37. I like him big and tall and fast. Those are the wide receivers that I think are more viable. I don't know if Chris Brazel is going to fall to round two because of his measurements. Somebody's going to reach. And the thing is, if we do not end up trading Mac Jones, which I absolutely loved and I wanted us to draft him, and I literally screamed at the TV and almost threw a rock through the TV when we picked Trey Lance. I wanted Mac Jones because he fit Kyle Shanahan perfectly, to the teeth. He was as close to Kirk Cousins type of a player with probably better mobility. He doesn't look it. His body type, he's not chiseled. He's not, kind of muscly, but he's deceptive. He recognizes the pocket. He feels it. And with him in college, I believe he won a championship in college. He was one of the best completion percentile, if I recall correctly, in college. He scanned the field. He could go to his second, third read and come back to the first one. He was that advanced coming out of college, and I absolutely wanted him to be our quarterback. But a few years down the line, and here he is. And if we don't end up trading him, I think we might go wide receiver second round. If we do end up trading him for second, and from what I'm hearing, what everybody's hearing, that 49ers want ransom for him. I don't know what that means. Maybe they want a late first. I wouldn't mind. I would love that. And then trade down, because I think we need a minimum of between 10 to 12 picks. I know that's impossible. We have 7 or 8 picks, depending on compensatory picks that we're going to get or have gotten. Um, if we do end up trading him for more picks, I think it's a good opportunity for the team to trade down and acquire additional top of the board in third, because I see a lot of the players that we like that I love for us to get. Uh, for instance, offensive lineman Rutledge. He's one person that I like. Logan Jones, I want him because he fits right in. You can literally come in and have him compete with any of the guys, and or pick more on top of the fourth, because I again see a lot of the players. Every time we do a mock draft, either myself or anybody else that I see, and I see the names get picked at top of the fourth. Some of the players that really could come in and contribute and be a very good depth. With that said, please make a comment, subscribe to the channel. I like to keep most of the videos short and just try to emphasize on specific areas, although we talked about D-line, O-line, and wide receivers, and that's based on what we signed in the free agency so far, 2 offensive tackles. And we'll see what the rest of the day today and the free agency will bring us, and how that will shift or change our goal or our outlook for the draft. Thank you again. I would love for you guys to be part of my channel, make it grow, subscribe to it, make a comment, bad or good, about myself or what I've discussed. Help me to grow this channel and get better and better. Thank you guys again, and see you soon.